the installation is done, okay,
Yes.
so this message will be shown to you. Are you able to see that message?
Yes, npm start.
Yes, you can go into your project directory and start development server.
Yes, localhost 3000 port working now.
Yes. Where we will keep our code. Inside this node modules, all your the core files will be residing. Okay. Inside this only you can find your React package and the React DOM. I will show you. Yes, here is your React. Here is your React DOM. Here are your React scripts. All of these mostly used. Okay. We will import that packages and we'll use classes and methods inside that. Methods basically. Successful installation, you will see the screen I will show. First, inside the node modules, what files are resided? Your core files. Basically, you will not be coding here. You will not disturb these files. Okay? Then afterwards, here in the side public directory, your static file, also the static file you can place here. Your logos, your HTML files can place here. Okay. Inside source, your main coding will go. Inside this, you will be placing your JavaScript file, and your CSS file can also go here. Okay. Basically, all of these are index file, your app file. These are the component files, and their respective CSS are these ones. Okay. Inside the package.json file, here you can find what dependencies are installed. React DOM, React scripts are already installed. If you want to install Bootstrap, there is one command that we will run, and we will get to see Bootstrap inside this dependency, and we can use that Bootstrap. Here is the dependency name. Here is your dependency version. If someone asks you what React version you are using, you can find it here. And for React DOM and React scripts, there are also versions. Here, our after installation, this screen must be showing to you. Is this showing to you, Ashwini?
Yes, it's showing.
Fine. Fine. So inside the source directory, we will understand how this output is, from which file it is coming now. Inside the index.js, here you can see all of the classes are imported. Okay, import React from React package, import React DOM from React DOM, and the CSS and the CSS file is imported in this way. In this pattern, we will import our CSS file. For importing the components, we will import it in this way. Our app component is imported here. Okay, and then we are rendering it here. Okay. And all of this file accordingly are imported. So this is the part of import, but how do you render? Okay. For rendering, you be using the React DOM class. Inside that, there is a method called as a render. Okay. What parameters do we need to pass to render? There are two parameters basically here. I'll show it how the syntax is. React DOM dot render. What you want to render? First is what you want to render, means what component you want to render, or what whatever it could be, could be your HTML you want to render directly, you can place it here. What you want to render is the first parameter, which is from here to here. Okay. And then second is your where you want to render. Okay. Where I want to render it inside this JavaScript. Are you aware of, everyone? Document.getElementById root.
Yes, I know this.
Okay, fine. What about the others? Ashwini, you are aware?
Yes.
Fine. Yeah. So where I want to render is document.getElementById root ID. So where is my root ID here? It is inside the public folder. Inside that it is index.html file. Here is my that ID. Inside that I am placing my component. Okay. Which component? It is a app component. App component will be shown inside this index.html, inside this root. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
So
Yes.
now, if you want to modify it, okay, I don't want this component to show. Let's say I want to show something else. I just want to change it, and I want to say welcome to React. So here you dynamically your error will also be shown. Okay. If they will not be shown here, you can also check it inside the problems. And if you want to run multiple terminal, there is an option here. You can click on it here, and you can run multiple terminal. When this multiple terminal will be useful to you, if you are already using this terminal and you want another one, then you can click on this and get that. You want to, if you don't want that, just click on delete. Okay. So what's the problem here? Syntax error. Yes, it is changed. Instead of component, this component app is the component that we were rendering earlier, right? Instead of rendering that component, I have just rendered the HTML code here.
Okay.
Yes.
But is it required here a React.strict mode?
Strict means you need to follow the syntax rules strictly. I think the error that was just was the warning earlier also. I will just remove it once because it is not a compulsory part. It is not a compulsory part. Okay. Now, earlier it was also a warning, just warning message.
What is the use of that?
What? A strict mode.
Yes.
You need to follow the syntax rule strictly. Basically, if you miss something, there is an error. And basically, generally, what is the problem in syntax? Whatever you are doing, JSX is also very strict here. If you are not in HTML, you miss your H1 something. If you miss something, that is allowed. Okay. If you miss something or you just place H1 and H2 here, sometimes it is allowed in there in HTML. It will understand, browser will understand and render it correctly, but it will not throw an error. But here you will strictly get an error. Okay. You need to follow the syntax rules completely. You can't miss on something. Okay. So this is the one. I directly changed it here. But let's say I want to change my app component. Already was present here, right? App component was already present. So I will go into my app component. Here is the code that is being rendered. Okay. This is the image. Below that is a paragraph and the link. Okay. So this is your JSX syntax. This is the JSX syntax. It has only one parent element. Okay, one parent. And if I say I will add another parent, it will directly give me an error. See, I'm getting an error inside problem. You can see what is the error. JSX expressions must have only a one parent element. Okay. Inside return statement, you can only place only a single parent. This is the parent inside that every child, and the nesting can go inside any level. Okay, that's not the issue. Inside div, you can add another div. That's not the issue. Okay, but you can only have one parent element. So here is the code, the class, and the one important point that you need to note is you can't use the class keyword for changing your CSS code. Okay, you use the class attribute, right? Class attribute you use, and you give the value and write the code for that here, right? Inside the CSS file. But class keyword is already reserved. Why class keyword is reserved? Because we are doing the object-oriented programming here, and the class, there are classes and objects also. For the class component, basically, you will not use this. And in JSX, it is recommended you will not use the class keyword, class attribute. Instead of that, you will be using class name. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Whenever you want to add any CSS, use the class name instead of class. Basically, we use classes for adding the CSS in the HTML file. Right? So you can add multiple CSS, everything other rule are as it is. Just the keyword is reserved class. So we are using class name instead of that. Why it is reserved? Because class component, inside the class component, while we are defining classes and objects, class is already reserved in object-oriented your JavaScript. So here the part is there. Here the div code is there. Inside that one header is added. The one image is there. Okay. After that one paragraph, and this is the link lastly. Okay. For adding your paths, you will be using in this way. The curly braces. For accessing your images, you will be accessing in this way, and for other part also, mostly this will be your JSX syntax for dynamically accessing the values. Have you gone through the code?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it similar to HTML? Or
A
it is
little bit different.
Little bit different.
Little bit
Just
different.
Little
Yes.
bit different.
few differences are there, minor differences just. But few differences, what I told you are, this is the one, the class name. And the second one is this, while you are giving the path. Okay. Giving the
Curly
path or
braces.
dynamically. Right. Second, the difference is that. And another difference is there while you are handling the events, the event handlers name are a bit different. Okay. It is not as it is, bit different. So normally you use the on-click event. Basically, that naming will be basically little bit change will be there for that. All the working will be same. Everything will be same. Event handling part also. So this was the part. If I want to change it, let's say here I want to change the component and I want to add something here. I can do that. So if you want to change the CSS inside this, for app component, which CSS you have applied, it is a app.css, right? So need to change that. I will go to the app.css. If I want to apply the background color, I can apply that. Yeah. So means how to change CSS, is this part clear? How
Yes, clear.
for if you want to do that for any of the component, you can do that. We have seen for the already present component here that is provided by React. Okay. So if you have created one component, right? If you have created one component here, you want to export that component now. You want to export that and use in the index file. Like here we have used, right? Here we want to use that component. Here I am calling that component, right? Sorry, comment is a bit different. Also note that comment in JSX is in this format.
Okay.
Okay. I am a comment calling a JSX component, calling a app component here. Okay. Below I am calling an app component. So I need to import that first. If I forgot to import, there might be an error. Okay. So what is error? App is not defined. Okay. App is not defined. So app basically the app function component that is not defined because we are not imported, so it will not identify that component. If I import once again, that error will be gone, right? So after exporting here, I have before importing, you need to export that component. Basically, the step will be you need to create the component first before you are using that component. So I have created that component, exported that component. I am using that component here. Okay. It's basically, I will once again create our component now. I will tell you how this will be working. Yes. So while creating component, your first name should be in the capital. Okay. The file name should be in the capital. Test.js is my component now. I will place the same code just for the testing purpose. I am using this. I am the new component. Okay. So my name will be test. It is, I am exporting the test component. My CSS will be app. It could be anything. Okay. It is not necessary like I need this only. But if you want to segregate things properly, you can do that. Okay. If you are applying the same CSS, that's not the problem. Okay. Totally same CSS will be applied for this also. This will also become the blue background and the text will come in center. So I have created my component here, right? New component. I want to import it and show it. I will go to index.js file. First step will be I will import. My component name is test from this test.js. It is not necessary to write extension. It is clever enough to understand that this is a JS file. Okay. Explicitly, if you want to mention it, then you will not get an error. Okay. If you not mention, then also it is not an error. I want to call this component now. I can call it like in this way. The component name, okay, the name that you have used here, basically, and then in this way, like look self-closing tag in your like BR tag, HR tag. So in similar way, you need to do this. Okay. There is another pattern I will show you in the component, but first we will see this if it is working correct. Is this new component creation step and calling this component clear to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let's say if you want to create a tag and you want to create one tag, you can place that inside the variables also in JavaScript. Okay. I want to keep the one element inside my JavaScript. This is the other method we are seeing here. my first element. Okay, inside that we can keep our element, be a paragraph tag. So how can I now call this? Inside this we can write okay, but in this case you can't use this components. Okay, but in this case you can't use the call the components here. Okay, if you are doing in this way, you have to do in particular that fashion. This is the alternative way for rendering the HTML in your code. Okay, this is the test paragraph. Okay.